Assalamu alaikum. So I'm back from Morocco and I haven't made a video before this because I've had a pretty bad cold, but I'm hopefully, inshallah, getting over it. But I thought I would come back and teach you a recipe, or actually share with you a recipe, because I am not a professional at making couscous at all. I'm gonna share with you my mother-in-law's recipe, and that was probably the best meal in my life, was her couscous. Fantastic. My husband says I'm at about she's a 10, I'm right now about an 8. So hopefully I'll get better over time. I'm going to share with you the process on how to make it. I'm making it from actual semolina flour. Here, this is my semolina flour. It's like that fine grain. That's not the instant stuff. So I will show you how to make it from scratch, and it makes the world of difference in the flavor, because the instant stuff tastes like yuck in comparison. When you get the good stuff, you know it's like night and day. There's two things that are specific, I feel, to making really good couscous. First is this, which is a couscous steamer, and I got this one in Morocco. It's like this big stainless steel pot, and you put the broth and the meat, and so that really rich, accentuated steam, like spice infused steam, is going to steam up through these holes and actually steam and flavor the grains that are in here. If you don't have this, get one. I'm sure you can get one online, or at like Islamic stores, or like, you know, like halal grocery stores. I'm sure they will have like imports from there. So in here, you're not going to use this right away, so you set this aside. In here, what you're going to do is you're going to start making the base of the broth, which is you're going to cook the chicken and with onions, with a little bit of butter and olive oil. The chicken, preferably, has been sort of marinated overnight, but because I decided last minute to do it, mine hasn't been marinated. But we'll just go with it. It'll still taste good. I've done it before like this, so that's good. So first thing, you're gonna add your butter. I'll put the ingredient stuff down below because I honestly don't remember what I measured. I have it all done. You put that in, and I'm using a very small whole chicken. It was about this big, and I remove the skin, and I cut it into 4 pieces. I remove the skin because, I don't know, I don't really like it when it's been sort of like done this way with skin on. So you stick this in there with your, I do 2 onions because I love onions, and I cook them like that. So I'll show you that in a second. Right now I have my heat on like medium high. You don't want to burn things. And what I'm going to do also is take this opportunity to add my onions. I'm going to use 2 onions, and they've been chopped, peeled. I like them a little bit chunky so I can still see them at the end. Goes in. Onions, yummy. Then you're going to add seasoning to taste. In this one, I'm using turmeric, ginger, a little bit of cumin, a dried harissa powder, which I got at Williams-Sonoma. It's really good. And then salt and pepper, and I'll just a little bit, or as they would say in Morocco, shouia. A little. So I'm going to stick that in. It was so interesting learning Moroccan Arabic. They're like, "Are you going to learn Arabic?" And I go, "Inshallah." And like, "Do you know Arabic?" And you'd say shouia, and they'd all giggle at you and laugh. And think it's adorable that the crazy American is speaking Arabic in an atrocious accent. You want to make sure this is getting tossed around so they can have some fun in there. It's getting a little too extreme for that. Time to break out my big guns. I'm going to make sure everything gets coated in the spice and the seasoning. You don't want like big pockets of stuff. Ooh, starting to look really good for raw chicken and onions. I think I overestimated the size of this chicken. So you let this sit for about 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. Maybe not, maybe less than that. And in the meantime, we go couscousing. The other equipment that I think is essential to making really good couscous is kind of like, I don't know what they call this in Arabic, but it's kind of like a serving tray. And you mix the water and the oil and the salt in here really well, and then you serve it in here. It's really, oh, it's so beautiful. I love this. It's probably my favorite thing I got while I was in Morocco for myself. 3 cups of dried couscous. Semolina. If you don't have semolina in your grocery store, which is kind of difficult for me to find it in the ones near me, I found it at a halal grocery store. So just pour this in. 3 cups. This is going to make, mind you, it's just me and my husband I cook for. This is going to make me a couple meals. So tailor accordingly. I like making a lot, like one huge meal, like a couple huge meals a week, and then alternating the leftovers, especially during Ramadan, because the days are long in the summer and cooking with food for me is tough when I'm hungry, because I'm like, I want to eat it. Clearly. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to get water into this without making it clumpy. It's dry, perfectly bone dry right now. So we're going to add a little bit of water at a time. And this is how my mother-in-law did it. She goes like this and drizzles and drizzles. So that's about like a tablespoon each. And then you mix like this and you pick it up, and I do that. See, it's not there yet. See, it's a soft crumble there. Is to pinch it and it'll keep the exact form. That's when you know you have enough water in your actual grains. In the, well, it's not a grain, it's like a small pasta. In the actual couscous. Moroccan women are a million times faster at this than I am. Little steam pot. Hi. So, what we're going to do, this is one of many times this is going to go back and forth. I'm going to pick it up and put it in there. We have it ready to go. It's right in there. And then what we're going to do is add to that steam pot water and fill it up so that it builds steam. And then we'll stick this on top. So I added water, and now we're just going to wait for this to start steaming up a little bit, and then we'll put the basket on. Okay, so I just dumped this out. I like to use a spoon because it is way hot right now. And you just want to start working out the clumps that were formed while steaming. And while it's still hot, you want to add more water. So we're going to add this guy. Call it a day. It's time for the vegetables. You can use any vegetables. I'm using 2 different types of potatoes, right? A squash, a zucchini, I think that's all for those. And then I'm going to do chickpeas. You don't want to add them too early or else they get crazy mushy and it's kind of ugh. I'm going to pull off the couscous because it's still steaming. And I want to add in a little bit of oil and a little bit more water. And this is the last thing that we're going to do. And also seasoning, like salt. You want to add a little salt to it. And it's all to flavor. Also is a good time to check your broth, how it tastes, because you're going to be putting that on top of the couscous when it's done. It's ready to do its last steamy steam. You don't want to pack it in there, because again, you don't want lumpy couscous. You just want to lightly pour it in. What I did was when I put that back on for steaming, I also added chickpeas and chopped up parsley. When it's done, when you know it's done, is when steam comes up through the steamer part of it. And that's exactly what it's doing just now. See, look at all this steam. You see it? Yeah. It's exciting. Like so. Like so. So it looks kind of like that. And then we start adding the chicken and vegetables on top. We're going to pretend this is butternut squash because my husband doesn't really like sweet potatoes. Super hotsy totsy. Alright, now the sauce. You pour around. Now my presentation is In Morocco, they it's insane. They eat with their eyes. That expression, you eat with your eyes first. So true in Morocco. Everyone makes their plating look like it should be a magazine photo. Now, I'm not as great as that. Voila! I really have to work on my presentation. It looks so sad. But it tastes so good. Alright, see you next time. But, so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the process. There's a fly. Where'd it go? Anyways. And now I have chicken hands. I don't want to touch my camera with chicken hands. Oh! Cleanliness first. It helps if I'm shorter, but I'm so tall. Then you're going to add seasoning to Alright, so we're going to do 3 cups of dried. I'm looking in there. You're in there. We're going to do 3 cups of dried. Still looking over there. You're there. Alright, so we're just going to go by this. You can see how prepared I was to make a cooking video.